Hi, so we're in Boston in bio. So I'm here with Jan Thirkettle, the CEO of Harness Therapeutics. Just give us a bit of background on yourself, Jan.
Yeah, so CEO, as you say, joined the company in 2021. My background is chemist a very, very long time ago. I was in large pharma for about 20 years, working mainly in late stage, mainly in novel technologies like gene therapy in the rare disease space. And that for me really fired up a passion about building new technology platforms. So that gave me a really great experience across the whole value chain. Got involved in taking one of the first ex vivo gene therapies to market. Then realized I wanted to change the scene and really felt biotech was a much more exciting, agile environment that I wanted to take part in. Moved to a company called Jan Thirkettle that was started up as a spin-out from UCL in gene therapy for AAV-based gene therapy for hemophilia B and a number of rare diseases. And had a fantastic experience learning the craft of being a startup CEO, chief development officer, and being part of a team navigating the challenges of building a biotech ultimately through COVID as well.
Yeah.
And that reaffirmed my passion for staying in the biotech space, staying in building new platforms and new technologies.
Yeah, that's amazing. So just moving on to Harness, who are you guys? What are you doing?
So we are a small neurodegeneration company. We're focused on targets where there's a really strong reason to believe that a small increase can be disease modifying. Now that might sound like a very small space. Actually, there's quite a lot of exciting targets in that area that have been well studied. There's maybe GWAS or good clinical data behind them, but they've been left unprosecuted because achieving a small controlled increase is pretty difficult. You can't do that with gene therapy, and by definition, knockdown platforms can't do that. So that for us gets into a space of unprosecuted, high-value targets that can make a big difference. And that's how we've decided to apply the technology we've built. We've built a technology to allow controlled increases in protein levels, particularly on targets in the CNS. And we, a couple of years ago, decided to apply that platform, particularly in neurodegeneration and CNS targets, which was maybe counterintuitive. Lots of our competitor companies are in rare diseases or in other organs, and neurodegeneration is not an easy space to be in, particularly on the clinical side of things. But we felt the opportunity on the target space and the match for our platform was really exciting, and that's the leap we made a couple of years ago when we branded the company as Harness Therapeutics.
Yeah. How do you, completely separate topic, but how do you find it being a UK-based company at the moment? Is it positive, negative, or?
That's a really interesting question. I think there's a lot of positives for being in the UK right now. I mean, our cost base and access to talent is actually really strong. Now, it's a smaller talent pool compared to Boston, San Diego, but there are now in the UK a large number of people who've not just got a great content background, but have got experience of biotech as well, and that pool has really grown over the past decade. So for me, it's a great place to get talent and to be able to build and operate really cheaply, frankly, by comparison to the US. And some great networks we can access with the healthcare system and KOLs in the UK and in Europe. So there's a lot of advantages. We don't have the same pool of big VCs, but those big VCs in the US are looking in this space as well.
No, I agree. I think I've definitely seen that. VCs are seeing the value in European, not just UK, talent and companies. I've seen there's definitely a resurgence. You've seen other companies come through doing these big fundraisers that the US companies are doing as well.
Yeah, the cost efficiency and the ability to build a team, and build an operation with stability over time, and that's difficult. It's more difficult actually if you're in a real hotspot like Boston. There's great pros to that, but there's also cons that it gets, particularly in times of boom, it gets very difficult to maintain a stable team. Whereas in the UK, it's less dynamic and people expect to stay longer, notice periods are longer, and so that stability and really building an operation where everybody knows each other, everybody's got each other's back, everybody knows how to be, that actually yields real dividends in the medium term, and that takes time to do.
Yeah, I think your mindset's quite refreshing because you talk about building a biotech from scratch with like great fondness, which is great, right? Like in what is a tough market through COVID, through what we're going through now,
For me, that's one of the most exciting parts. So the science is super exciting, but for me, one of the most exciting parts is to build the company and build the operation. And yeah, I think that's also one of the most difficult things. Actually, my experience at Freeline and working with other companies along the way.
Yeah.
The science is always difficult. You're always going to have to adjust. The science will never work as planned. The key then actually is how do you build the operation where you're going to learn from that and adjust. And evolve from a 2-person to a 10-person, from a 10-person to a 40-person. Actually, that's one of the hardest things. Things to get right, and you need to be quite deliberate about it. But that's second time round, it's feeling a lot easier, and it's a real focus we're putting onto it as a management team.
Yeah, I think like this aspect of gratitude and celebrating little wins is big as well. Like what you guys have done with Harness is already a great achievement. Like, how often do you actually sit back and?
Yeah, maybe not often enough, but for me, as an organisation, we started this company 4 years ago. It started under a different name. But from day one, an organisation about controlled upregulation. As I say, 2 years ago, we made some decisions, partly based on wanting to adjust the technology strategy, partly because we felt neurodegeneration was the place to go in, and we adjusted the company. And through that period, everybody stayed with it. Didn't lose anybody, and that sort of trial by fire of any organisation and a team has been amazing to see people stick with it. And that's, for me, is one of the things I'm most excited about the company and proud of the team that have continued to, they've built resilience through that and built a real team.
That's awesome. So what's next now? What are you thinking?
So we're on the cusp of getting some really exciting data about our lead program, which is in Huntington's disease. And say it's getting super exciting data's coming out day by day, week by week. So over the summer, we've got a very exciting summer of, say, some big data readouts, selecting a development candidate. We're on the cusp of that, and that will be the catalyst for them going after an A round. And so we're doing all of the pre-work, getting ready for that, starting to engage investors. But it's a bit like lining up to the start line of a very big race, and it's the tension's building.
No, it's exciting though. I'm really glad that you guys are getting traction and
and it's been we're lucky. The field, the neuro field, is on a real up with some real insights on target biology, on endpoints. Pharma's really putting focus on investment in the area, and the investors can see that. And then Huntington's, there's been some incredible breakthroughs that have been driven by the big research organisations and charities in space, but that has driven real excitement about clinical studies, and luckily for us, it's put a big focus on the pathway that our target operates in. So we're benefiting from that. So it's a very exciting time.
Amazing, and that's a great place to finish it off. But
great stuff.
Pleasure to have you on, Jan.
Thanks very much, man.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Cheers.